Yeah.
What is your most proud accomplishment as a mayor?
My most, well, I think it revolves around, in my opinion, having really good outreach to residents, and not just people coming to City Hall. I make it a habit of meeting people at Pete's Coffee. So Pete's Coffee is sort of my office away from office, and it's become almost, not to say a running joke, but it's sort of a running commentary that if people want to call me or I want to talk to somebody, I ask them to go to Pete's Coffee. So my proudest accomplishment is that I think people are comfortable and used to getting calls and asking to come on down and meet me at Pete's, so I can ask them questions about how we're doing, what are your thoughts about the city. One of my favorite questions I always ask people is, if you were mayor for the day, what would you do different? And seeing if they, what comes to mind, what would they change, what was important to them. But my proudest accomplishment, I think, is the community outreach we're doing and trying to make sure that people feel as if they can always call me, get together, whether it's Boy Scouts, different community groups, individuals, get a chance to reach out and talk to me.
I see. So it's like you're more open to the public that way.
Yeah, because that communication is the first thing you want to have going. Now, in terms of things we've gone off and done, I think one of our biggest priorities was to, the biggest issue we have in San Ramon is both the perception and the reality of growth. That we have a lot of homes being built in the Doherty Valley, not as many being built here in this side of San Ramon. And so one of my biggest goals has been, what do we have to do to both slow down and understand growth, because we all moved here to enjoy the atmosphere, we enjoy this. And we don't want growth to overwhelm us, both in terms of traffic, in terms of schools, in terms of quality of life. And in the 7 years I've been mayor, we've only approved 157 new units. And that's not very many compared to what's going on. And only 48 of those have been built. Now those 48, I didn't even vote for those, I voted against them. So slowing down growth was important. And the other one, which is sort of a part of it, is protecting our open spaces. Protecting the Western Hills from being developed, protecting the Tassajara Valley from development. In particular, there was a development to put a cemetery in Tassajara Valley, and Phil Alone and I fought that, had public hearings, and we were able to get it stopped. So that looks like that cemetery is not going to happen. The Doherty Valley is off limits to new construction. What they're going to do is only what was planned for and agreed to back in 1994. So all the homes that are being built out there, that is from 1994's agreement. In this part of San Ramon, there are some other areas like our shopping centers that a previous mayor and a previous council had designated for housing. So we are now working through a process to remove that housing from some of those shopping centers to protect the retail in those locations and to protect those neighborhoods. One of the premises that I'm trying to work on is, if there is going to be growth, if people are going to come in, whatever we do has to make sure that whatever we approve does not adversely affect existing local neighborhoods in terms of traffic, in terms of impacts. We want to protect our local neighbors, protect our local neighborhoods from those kinds of developments.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that kind of covers some other questions too. Let's see. So in regards to like the Chinese community, do you have like any like specific expectations of how they can like help contribute to our society in San Ramon?
Well, I think I don't single out individuals or groups for anything special beyond the fact you got to get plugged in. If you really want to have an impact on what your community is going to look like, you need to get involved. One of the ways they can get more involved is to take some of the classes we have, or some of the courses. One is the Police Academy, which allows residents to get involved. Over 14 weeks, they learn how the police work and all the routines, the process, and that's important because when residents understand how the police operate and what their ground rules are, and when they understand why they do what they do, why they pull you over in a certain fashion, it allows you to both appreciate what they do, but I think also become more of an advocate for them. And that's important. We have a planning academy, which allows residents to take a 6-week course, and in it, they, 1 night a week for 3 hours, they learn in depth to a certain extent land use, because land use is the most contentious thing that we have in San Ramon. Construction, building, and when people understand the ground rules around land use, how the process works, people's rights, zoning, how the planning commission works, the role of city council in listening to appeals, when they understand that, I'll give you an example. People are always asking me when projects are being proposed, how do you feel about this project? And I have to explain to them that the decision to approve or not approve this project goes through the Planning Commission. And I cannot be involved or interfere in that. That is the Planning Commission's role. And the other reason I can't be involved is that whatever decision they reach, if it's appealed, by the applicant, the developer, or by anybody else, a resident, I've even appealed to. They would then come to City Council for a hearing, which we refer to as a de novo hearing. De novo means new.
Yeah.
So we start from scratch, have a whole new hearing, and we sit in a semi-judicial setting as judges to render a finding on the appeal. If I'm a judge, can I have been prejudiced beforehand?
No.
No, because if I did, why even have the charade of having a hearing? It's like going to a judge when you're being accused of a crime, and the judge says, "I know you're guilty,
Yeah.
but we'll give you a trial." That doesn't make any sense, and so we have to remain silent. We can't let people know how we feel about a project, pros or cons. We can't unduly influence the planning commission. We can't step in and tell them we don't want you to approve this or not. That's inappropriate.
Yeah.
And so as a council member or as a mayor, I have to remain silent, despite the fact that people yell at me, despite the fact people go on social media and say horrible things about me. Why isn't the mayor standing up for us? I have to stand up for the process first. I have to remain silent and until it comes to me, if it comes to me, and then wait for all the public hearings to end before I can decide how I feel about a project to make a finding. So that's an important process to learn. A lot of residents are not familiar with that. You probably weren't as familiar with
Yeah,
that.
definitely not.
And once you learn that, you go, now I understand why he's not saying something. Not that he doesn't care, not that he's in favor of it. He has to remain silent, otherwise he could be called recused or removed from being on council for that particular decision because of prejudice.
So like more awareness. In the
Yes, yes. And the last course we have is called Government 101. And I really encourage residents to take that, especially new ones, because they get a survey course of all the things the city does. Public services, planning, police, also why streets are paved a certain way, the whole rigmarole, the finances and how we pay for a city, because once residents go through that, they have a pretty good appreciation for how complex running a city is, and also the fact that the mayor's not the boss. I'm not the boss of the city. I'm only one of 5 council members, and I can only make a decision in a public meeting that's been advertised 3 days in advance, and only on issues that have been advertised 3 days in advance. And it takes 3 of us, a majority of 3, to give the city manager direction on how to do something different. I cannot direct the city manager or any employee to do anything. I'm not the boss. I'm not the CEO. I'm like the board of directors. And every 2 weeks we can direct the city manager. And people have a misperception that as a mayor I can somehow fix things, and I can't. I can influence, I can talk to a city manager, but I cannot fix things that way.
I see. Well, let's see. I think you really talked about all my questions.
Well, I anticipated all those smart questions.
And so, do you have any plans for the future for the city of San Ramon?
Let me talk about my favorite project.
All right.
We have a city center coming, right?
Yeah.
Sort of the downtown. Well, that's not all the downtown. That's just one building, the city center, which should be a fabulous place for people to go, restaurants, theaters, retail shopping. It's my vision that we create, in fact, we're already doing this, about a 200-acre walking district. So, in your imagination, think of all of Central Park
Yeah.
on the east side, the Iron Horse Trail, connecting other parts of San Ramon, bringing people in. We'll have the new pedestrian overpass being built over Bollinger Canyon Road, so people can safely get from the south to the north. We'll have the city center. Over by the old AT&T building, which is now called BR 2600, there's a 12-acre lake that's open to the public. It's got a beautiful trail around it. And you incorporate all 3 of those areas into a walking district. And there's a trail that we have, it already exists. It's a 2-mile trail that goes through all of it. So you have a walking trail to come. Even though it is kind of a denser urban area with all those amenities, it still has the openness of a walking district, parks, and a lake. So you can come down to the walking district, go to a concert in the park, go shopping at the city center, go sail a boat at the lake, or have a meal over there. Create a place that you can, and people are doing this already. People have fundraising walks where they say a walk for Alzheimer's or a walk to help cure diabetes. And they're coming to San Ramon now. They're having their big rallies, and 3,000 to 5,000 people will be doing that walk through the walking district to help raise money for different organizations. So I'm really excited about how we're going to have a really vibrant walking district in San Ramon.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Awesome, that's great.
That's good, yeah.
All right. That wasn't too painful, was it? No, no.